Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Deacon Kahleial with the King James Bible University, Shawnee, Kansas. And today's teaching is titled Envious Heart, Self-Righteous Mind. My brothers and sisters, we have to look at the relation of being envious, hypocrisy, and being self-righteous. All three of these things, my brothers and sisters, they go hand in hand. And if we continue to go in a way that's not pleasing to the Most High, it's just like a compound effect. All these things start to attach. All these things start to build up. All these things become applicable. Why? Because if we're doing one thing, we have to consider everything else that we're doing as well. So in this teaching, we're going to see how these things relate to one another, and also what we need to do to get these things right. Looking at the implications and the different things that come from this, and also understanding the severity of these actions. So my brothers and sisters, this will be a part one, because as I studied this, it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And if I sat there and did all this in one go, this will be hours long. So I'm going to do this one in pieces so that in this one we can see how these things relate. And then we can see in the next one the different works that we can actually see as a result from it. We're going to talk about some of them, but in this one we're really seeing how these come together and what's going on, but we still will touch on some things in this, okay? So with that being said, a little recap on envious. Envious puts someone down no matter what. They want to be above everyone else. This is being boastful and envious. This is being resentful. And you can have internal, so inside pains over the success of others, begrudging. And you see someone else doing well and you hope on their downfall. Being an overachiever, being competitive. Whatever they got, you're going to do whatever you can to be better or to be above that other person. Or you're going to be putting yourself in a position to say that what you have is better than what somebody else has. So you're being envious, you're being demanding, you're doing all these things based on the condition of your heart. All these things will come up. So we act like we do no wrong in that, oh, well, I'll do this and I'll do that. But we're going to be doing things according to our own mind, being self-righteous. This we can't do. We need to understand a self-righteous mind and the issues that it brings. On this journey, we don't need to lean to our own understanding or do things according to what we think is right. Being high-minded and mighty against others. Self-righteousness ties to many issues and can send one on a downward spiral. Self-righteousness is of the flesh and will cause one to glorify oneself in their own mind and make themselves as if they're better than others, being judgmental and critical of others based on their own opinions. Okay, condemning people and pointing the finger at others, but never looking inwardly at oneself. Okay, all these things we have to look at. Starting here in Luke 18:10, where it reads, 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. Okay, the Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. Keep that in mind. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. Okay? So we can see how this Pharisee put himself on this pedestal and was envious towards this publican. Okay? Speaking on this man and trying to make himself look superior to him. All right. Now keep this in mind. This publican and this Pharisee are doing two different things. Because a Pharisee is going to go into a physical building made with hands to do what he's going to do. This publican is in the temple, knowing that he is the temple, making sure that his supplication is coming from the heart, acknowledging and taking accountability for his own actions. So this publican and this Pharisee are in two different arenas. Okay, and this Pharisee is going to be doing everything according to his own understanding. So We can see how this Pharisee put himself on this pedestal and was envious towards the publican, speaking on this man and trying to make himself look superior to him. Self-righteousness on display here, because he thinks that he can boast himself to God, but God is not going to listen to that. As we can clearly see, there is no humility in the Pharisee, but there's arrogance and a high-minded attitude professing his own righteousness. But this is self-righteousness. Remember, being envious is self-exalting, seeking vainglory. These are qualities of a Pharisee, and we automatically see that this is linked to self-righteousness. These move together, but it goes deeper, okay? And one thing we have to keep this in mind. Let me see. Because we need to remember, this Pharisee sitting here saying, he says, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust. So he's saying that he's just. He's saying that he is righteous. Okay? And we have to quite literally remember one thing. Clear. We're going to stay in Luke. And let me see. We're going to stay in Luke. And we're going to stay in 18. But we're going to go down to 19. And it say, and Jesus said unto him, salvation said unto him, why callest thou me good? So right here, and Jesus said unto him, why callest thou me good? None is good save one, that is God. So only one is good, and that is God. So we should not be sitting there putting ourselves on no pedestal. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, that, and a bag of chips. We shouldn't be doing anything like that. Salvation comes from the Most High God. Only the Most High is good. So you don't sit there and put no teacher on no pedestal. Don't put no man on no pedestal. That's male or female. Don't you put anybody on a pedestal. The only one that deserves all glory, praise, and honor is the Father. He sent his word, Jehovah, to guide us back to him. So flesh, we not going to sit here and act like flesh is good. There is none good except one. That is God. We should not put ourselves in that position. So going back up, this Pharisee talking about he praying this with himself, because this ain't being listened to. He's saying, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. We see the envious nature of this publican, and we also see that he believes that he is righteous. So he's being self-righteous. We can see this all clear as day. And now he's going to talk about what he does, and we're going to go from 12 to 13 now. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. Look at me, look at me, look at me. We see this attitude and behavior right here in 13. And the publican standing afar off would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For every man that exalteth himself shall be abased. So you're going to get humbled. And every man that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Why? Because we all are in these fleshly vessels. So not one of us should be sitting there thinking we this, that, and a bag of chips. So a Pharisee is going to operate according to the flesh and will place themselves above others in their hearts. This will be shown in both their talk and in their actions. This mindset is one that is unmerciful and cruel towards others. So righteousness and hypocrisy run hand in hand. A hypocrite will have a false appearance and want to look apart but not play it, wanting to look and appear righteous but not actually be following through. They're going to tell you one thing and then do another. A hypocrite is unstable in their ways. All right. Now from here, let's go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 20. Oh, 1 second, it's loading. All right, verse 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Okay? Because their righteousness is of themselves. A Pharisee is fleshly driven. So their righteousness is of themselves. These are flesh driven men. Okay? A Pharisee, that's what they're going to be doing. Their righteousness is of the flesh, which is a filthy rag, and not through the faith of Christ. All right? Self-righteousness is insecure, meaning that it won't trust in God. That self-righteousness is going to trust in itself and what it can do. It's going to put its hope in the things that it can see, which that isn't hope in the first place. Our hope should be in Jehovah, Christ, these things that are eternal, these things that we cannot see. So, except right here, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Okay? Now, we're going to go to Matthew 23 and 4. Because it's also showing what this does. What a Pharisee and a scribe, what is it going to sit there and do? For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders. That's a full thought. But however, they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Okay? And you know what? Let's go to 5 as well. Let's go to 5 as well. But however, all their works they do for it to be seen of men. All right? We can actually pause right there. All their works they do for to be seen of men. So we know that everything that they're doing is for vainglory. Envious, being full of envy and hypocrisy. This is what happens. All self-righteousness. So we see this. They themselves are going to tell you one thing and try to get you to be a certain way, but will be saying one thing and doing another, placing themselves above others. Okay? We can see this as if they're the top of the line amongst everyone else. Self-righteousness is puffed up and big-headed, prideful. We cannot sit there and operate in this way. We need to keep the covenant and do that which is pleasing to the Spirit of God no matter what. Self-righteousness will prioritize self above all else, showing a lack of compassion and selfish desire, being led by their own mind on what they believe is right. We're supposed to be holding on to the righteousness of the Most High, following Christ through faith, and our works will reflect that faith. So a self-righteous person will not be led by the Spirit of God, but by their own heart. Okay? These things we can clearly see. So now, if they're going to be led by their own heart, they're going to be led by their own desire, their own ways of doing things. We can look at Philippians. We can look at Philippians 3:19. Give it a split second to load. Right here. Whose end is destruction, whose guide is their belly, is their desire. So they're going to be led by their flesh. They're going to be led by the flesh. They're going to be led by the desires of it. And whose strength is in their shame, who mind earthly things. So they're going to be worried about all the things here, and they're going to be led by their own desires, their own ways of doing things. They're not going to be looking to do those things that are pleasing to Jehovah. These are the ones that are going to be sitting there doing whatever. They're going to sit there. You can even look at this as those that don't meditate. They don't want to sit there and study and put in the work. They're going to be sitting there worrying about what's going on out in the world, what they can get, how they can get it, chasing after money, chasing after women, chasing after cars, chasing after fame, success, these temporary things of this world. And this is what happens. And this is the same thing that a Pharisee will also do. The only difference is they're going to claim that they're going to be following the Most High, but be doing everything else. So it's a bunch of lip service that's there. So the same thing is, let me see here. This is coming to mind right here. This wasn't in the teaching, but we're gonna move over here to 1 John 2:15. Because we can't be led by fleshly desires. So 1 John 2:15. It say, we're gonna go to 16. Actually, we're gonna go from 15 to 17. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. All right? And you know what? We're going to go to the spiritual dictionary, and we're going to look up world real quick. Just so you can see it. Let me see. Of the world, it says uncircumcised. All right? So being a heathen, being worldly, world, earth, land, mankind, creation, realm, the flesh. Okay? So right here, the flesh. And then right there, the ground. Okay? So the same thing is we go back. Love not the flesh, neither the things that are in the flesh. So we shouldn't sit there and get caught up in fleshly things, these worldly things. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Why? Because you seeking after the things that's contrary to the things that's pleasing to the Most High. And you putting that over the things that are pleasing to him. We should always prioritize the Most High, seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. All these things are of the flesh, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God, the will of the Father, abideth forever. This is what we need to be doing. Okay? And it also wasn't in here, but we got to see it, because all that's in the flesh. Galatians 5:19 through 21. All that's in the flesh. Now the works of the flesh are made known, manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like. Of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. So we can't be getting caught up in these things. We can't get caught up in this world, because all this is in the world. We can't get caught up. We got to sit there and hold to Jehovah no matter what. So with that, let's get back to the teaching. Let's go back to Philippians 3:19. Whose end is destruction. If we want to hold to that way of doing things, holding on to the flesh, whose end is destruction, it won't inherit the kingdom of God. Whose guide is their belly, their desire. Let's look at belly. Belly, thy flesh. Right here, we see bowels. We see these things. Let's go here. Right there, innermost parts. It's a metaphorical representation. Innermost parts of greed, heart. We see this. You following the desires of your heart, and we know that the heart is desperately wicked. All these things come up. So now let's go back. Whose end is destruction, whose guide is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame. who mind earthly things. So we must avoid self-righteousness, placing our own rule or metric in place over others. Let me see. Placing our own rule and metric in place over others' lives and holding to an opinion on what we think is right. We need to follow the Spirit of God and hold to His ways no matter what. Not sit there and think we're high and mighty above others. Not sitting there trying to force others to do what we want them to do or to follow us. We cannot be led by our own selfish desires or any wicked desire. We need the Spirit to lead and guide us. So we can avoid all of this by humbling ourselves greatly and having a sincere heart towards the Spirit of God and repent from the heart. We need to remember what's going on, okay? From here, let's go to Micah 6 and 8. And it reads, He have showed thee, O man, male or female, what is good, and what doeth the Spirit of God require of thee, but to do justly. All right. And to promise mercy, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy guide. This is what we need to do. Okay. But here's the issue with being self-righteous. Ezekiel 16:15. But thou didst trust thine own beauty. Okay? This is what we did. And this is what continuously happens. So let's go here. Let's look at beauty. Right here. Trusted thine own beauty. Trusted thy own righteousness. Trusted your own way. Trusted your own law. We trusted our own beauty. This is what happens. But thou didst trust thine own beauty, your own way, your own righteousness, and played the harlot because of thy renown. All right, let's look at renown. Your own respect, your own value, your own favor. You sitting, this is what we do. Our own fame, our own reputation. Our own notoriety. All these things, reputation, fame, esteem. Thinking we the stuff. Oh, I'm this. Yeah, I'm this. Yeah, man, look, man, ain't nobody like this, man. Y'all wish y'all could be like this, man. Y'all, man, look, man, check this out, bro. Let me put you on game real quick. Let me put you on game real quick. This is what we think that we doing. This is what we think that we doing. But thou didst trust thy own beauty, thine own righteousness, and played the harlot because of thy renown, and poured out thy fornications, your forbidden practices, the things that you thought was right, the things that you think is okay, on everyone that passed by. So we sitting there now, we just putting it out everywhere. Oh yeah, man, check this out, bro. Hey, let me show you how to holler at this chick, bro. Yeah. Hey, bro, look. Let me show you how to flip this money. Let me show you how to get this money out of this bank so they don't know how much you took. Let me show you how to scam this dude. Let me show you how to rob this here. Let me show you how to do this. Hey man, look, let me show you how to flip these packs. Let me show you how to push this work. Let me show you, man, look. I'm gonna put you on game, bro. Watch this. You want to be seen by men. You want to be seen by people. You want to be respected and looked at and glorified in your flesh. This is what happens. Now you're going to sit here and give out all this stuff being a harlot because of your renown. And you're going to pour out your fornication. This is what happens. But thou didst trust in thy own righteousness, thy own beauty, and played the harlot because of thy renown, and poured out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. Same thing is, you got some people who was pushing whatever doctrine they was pushing. Still trust in your own beauty, because we supposed to be holding on to the truth, the nothing but this word, 100% according to precepts. Some people gonna push their own thought to it. Some people gonna push their own understanding to it. Some people gonna push their own, oh well, this, that, and the third, gonna reinterpret something and push that out. This is the stuff we absolutely cannot do at all. We can't do this. So I'm gonna read this one more time. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and played the harlot because of thy renown. So you just want to be seen by people, and pourest out thy fornication on everyone that passed by. His it was. Now from here, let's go to Sirach, or Ecclesiastes 3 and 24. It says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion. All right. So your own worthless thought, your own worthless. Let's go here and look at opinion. Right there, your own worthless thought, your own worthless opinion, intent. What you thinking? For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Because you sitting there leaning to your own understanding. This is something that we can't do. But right here, now, let's go to Isaiah 64 and 6. Okay, that's that is different. Okay. $64 and 6. Because if we trust in our own righteousness, always remember. But however, we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are as compared to filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our acts of sin, like the wind, have taken us away. So we see these things here. By trusting in our own way and wanting to be above others, we're operating in uncleanness. Operating according to what we think is right will put us in the flesh automatically, because we need to operate according to what the Most High God says is right. Not sitting here condemning people and saying this or that about others. Flesh is going to die no matter what. We need to condemn all the works of the flesh and to be wholly separated from the works of the flesh, because those works separate from God. So it's not for us to sit there and be judgmental about somebody else or what we think they doing or what we see on them. It's about us holding to the ways of Jehovah no matter what, and being a reflection of his character, holding on to his law, following the Spirit no matter what, by faith. That's what we need to do. So right here, we're going to go to 2nd Corinthians, or no, 2nd Esdras, I'm sorry. Let me see. 2nd Esdras 16, 67. Which reads, remember, behold, God himself is the judge. Desire him. Leave off your sins. So those wicked thoughts, leave that alone. Leave off that vain opinion. And forget your iniquities. Forget your acts of sins, to meddle no more with them forever. So leave all that stuff alone. So shall God lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. Okay? So this is the stuff we're looking at. This is the stuff we can see here. It is not for us to sit there and think that we finna get at somebody else or talk on what the next man is doing or even what we think they're doing. This is not our place whatsoever. We are here to serve Jehovah and remain faithful to this agreement that we made with him, to obey his voice no matter what. So it's not for us to think that we're pulling a mote out of someone else's eye. Oh, you doing this? Hey, bro, you, man, get off that, bro. What? Thinking we need to get someone else right. This word is what transforms us from the inside and cleans us from all this unrighteousness. So it's not for us to sit there and try to be a vigilante. You simply sit there, share what the truth is, keep it moving. Not what you think is right, not putting what you think is right, not putting what your standard is on someone else. Hold to what is right according to the Most High. We only need to hold fast to the Spirit of God and not be led by our own thoughts and will. Okay? These are the things that we're looking at. Let's go to Romans. Romans 10. We're going to look at 1 through 3. Right here. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. Okay, so we haven't, some might be really trying to do what's right, but they not doing it according to knowledge. They doing this according to what they think, not realizing that they doing everything wrong. So they can have a desire of God, but it's not according to knowledge. You sitting there going by your own mind, your own thought. Can't do that. You have to stop doing that. Oh, what about this? Stop doing that. Hold to what is correct and was right in his sight. So this right here is very clear. Having a desire of God is good. There's nothing, I say it's good to have a desire of God, but we need to make sure it's according to knowledge, or else our heart will be far from him. We cannot go based on what we think. We need to know the things that's pleasing to God and to make sure that we're aligned with Jehovah and his will. We're in these bodies of flesh, and these produce filthy rags. So it is essential that we move according to the knowledge of God and follow his ways, not establishing our own righteousness. The Most High God has all sovereignty, dominion, and power. Everything belongs to him. So if we're operating according to our own righteousness and not his, we're also saying that we gods. And we not. We're just men. We're just man. And we'll die like man. All right? So we just men if we gonna die like men. So we need to learn to align to his righteousness and stay within the covenant with our God and be led by his spirit no matter what. We don't want to idolize anything. We don't want to idolize ourselves in our own minds. We need to move in meekness and lowliness of mind. Okay? From here now, let's go to Romans 13 and 13. Let me see this, because sometimes this right here is like that. Okay, so right here it says, "Let us walk honestly, as in the day, not in riotings." So not in rivalry, not in drunkenness, walking crooked. All right. Not in rioting and drunkenness. So there's rivalry and we walking crooked. Not in chambering, which is our own thoughts. in wantonness, desires of these physical things, not in strife and envying. So keep this in mind. These comma, let me see. That comma is building on that thought. So that means envying, you're going to be doing all these things here. So envying, yeah, you're going to be in strife. Envying, yeah, you're going to have that wantonness. Envying, yeah, you're going to be walking according to your own thoughts. Envying, yeah, you're going to be you're not going to be walking straight. Envying, yeah, you're going to be rivaling others. So you see exactly what's going on here. It's all clear. Okay? So we have to walk honestly. So let us live honestly as compared to in the day. All right? Proverbs 21 and 21. Let me see this here. Okay, 21 and 21. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. Okay? From here, let's go to Deuteronomy. Oh, I didn't mean to press that. Let's go do it. Okay. Zoom back in. Deuteronomy. Chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before, in the presence of the Spirit of God, our guide, as he hath commanded us. Okay? So, we saw in Proverbs 21:21, he that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. Deuteronomy 6:25, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Spirit of God, our guide, as he have commanded us. So we see what we need to follow. Okay? From here, let's go to Sirach. Let's go to from 1 to 3. Set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Because why? You now, your heart is on all the physical things. Your heart is on the things of the world, as we seen. Some people, man, I'm straight, man. I got this house, man. Man, I'm married. I got this beautiful chick with me, man. She loves me and I love her, man. I got these beautiful kids, man. I got all this money, man. Look, everything good. I'm straight. I'm straight. I'm straight. Set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Because all that's going to go away. It's ultimately vain. Because it's all temporary. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Okay? And say not, who shall control me for my works? Or who gonna tell me what to do? Who gonna tell me what to do? Yeah, I can do whatever, man. I'm gonna do what I want. All right? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Why? Because that pride separates from him. That pride is far from him. So now from here, let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 5. Let's go to verse 21. And it say, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes, their own understandings, and prudent in their own sight. So the self-righteous heart will prioritize things that are here, temporary things, and isn't aligned with Jehovah. Its affection will be on the things of the flesh, being upright in its own understanding, but crooked is all get out. So we must be aligned with the Spirit of God in our thoughts and deeds, having the Spirit of God working in us. If we're being self-righteous, then we're guiding the course of our own lives and operating in pride, and we will guide ourselves into destruction. Because without the light of truth, we're gonna go wrong every time. And let me see, that's making me think of a verse. This wasn't in the teaching either. But it's let me see here. It's in Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. It say, set your affection, all right, on the things above, not on the things on the earth. All right. Let's look at what affection means. Affection means what? Let's go here. Affection means love, charity, compassion, kindness, heart. So right here, let's go back. Set your heart on things above, not on the things on the earth. Let's go back. Affection, love. Set your love on things above, not on the things of the earth. We just saw love not the world, nor the things that was in the world, now did we? It says not on the things on the earth. Let's just make sure you can see the tie-in right there. Just type in earth. You're going to see it again. Earth, world, ground. Once again, what's this related to? Once again, I'm going to just make sure you see it. Yeah, because it's all tied right there. You see, it ain't nothing. It ain't no secrets here. World, earth, land, the flesh. It's all right there. So we can literally see what's happening. So let's get back into this teaching. From here, let's go to Proverbs 14 and 12. Because it says, if we could, all right, I'm gonna reiterate this. So yes, we must be aligned with the Spirit of God in our thoughts and deeds, having the Spirit of God working in us. All right, so he's gonna work in those who are his. Okay, so us being the temple, we need to make sure that we are aligned with Jehovah's will. Okay, and not all Israel is Israel. So you'll be able to see by the works what's happening with a person. All right. So if we're being self-righteous and guiding the course and operating in pride, then we're going to guide ourselves into destruction, because the light of truth is not with us, and we're going to go wrong if we want to hold to self-righteousness. So right there, Proverbs 14 and 12, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Following our own way, if we want to hold to self-righteousness, then we're leading ourselves to death. So we must follow Jehovah. He's the only one that can guide us to the Father. We cannot sit here and think we could do this on our own, because at that point, now you think you above God automatically. Man, I got this, man. I'm chilling, man. I got all this, man. I'm straight, man. I can. What? Self-righteousness ties to pride, hardening yourself against the Spirit of God, behaving as if you have all the answers. You think that you're just the best thing walking around, as if you're superior to all the things that God has created. Some of us look down on people that chose not to follow the truth, or because they don't know what the truth is, we're going to start treating people like garbage. We get a little bit of truth, and all of a sudden we think that everybody are these worthless beasts that are beneath our feet. The only difference between us and them is that we made different choices. If if they simply just don't know it, then we have a responsibility to let them know. This doesn't mean now that you are this superior being to them, that you're better than them, and you don't sit there and treat people crazy and talk to them crazy, acting as if you the best thing that's out. Why? They in flesh, you in flesh. It's straightforward. Constantly going to these people with the same things over and over, trying to pound something into them, trying to be lords over them and dominate them, as if since we now know truth, we all of a sudden perfect. Are we serious? We need to get right with the Most High God. And it's a privilege to know what we know. Privileges are given and they can be taken away. So we can't act as if we're superior, or that we always had this knowledge, or that we got it all perfect. Oh, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm fine. I'm good. Man, look. Man, can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't nobody do this. Can't nobody do this. Man, look at me, man. Look. Shoot, I got the Maserati. I got all this stuff by my own ways. I got all this stuff by my own power. Man, look, can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm self-made. I got all that. That don't even make no sense. And as a matter of fact, this ain't the teaching either. Let me see. Let me see this real quick. Let me find this real quick. It's in the law. All right, it's Deuteronomy 8. Let me see. It's Deuteronomy 8 and 18. Yeah, as a matter of fact, wait a minute. We're going to start at 11 and go down to 18. Because this came into my mind. We're going to go down to, I'm sorry, y'all, because it's this whole thing here. We're going to go from 11 to 19 is what we about to do. So Deuteronomy 8, 11 down to 19, because this is actually what popped into my mind here. That's a lot of stuff. We're going to read it. Beware. So you better avoid this. That thou forget not the Spirit of God thy guide, and not keeping his commandments and his judgments, his doctrines and teachings, and his statutes, which I command thee this day, lest when thou hast learned and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein. You put in this work. And when thy herds and flocks multiply, and thy silver and gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart is lifted up, and now forget the Spirit of God thou guide, because you're getting comfortable with what you got in this world. You're getting comfortable with all this stuff. All the stuff that's going on, you got comfortable, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, the land of captivity, the land of bondage. You done crossed over from flesh to spirit. You didn't left the ways of that. But now you didn't forgot about the Spirit of God. From the house of bondage, who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no knowledge, there was no water, who brought thee forth knowledge out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, my power and of mine hand have gotten me this wealth. Now you sitting there exalting yourself over the Most High as if you did everything yourself. And we know it ain't of our own power that we have anything good. It's through his strength and his power and his ability that we have the things that we have. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and the true treasures that come from the word of God is going to come from him. And all things that we need, he going to make sure we have what we need. But if you sit there and get all big-headed and boastful in your mind thinking that you the hottest thing out based on what you think that you was doing, all right. And now say in thine heart, my power and my might and of my hand have gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember the Spirit of God thy guide, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. So it don't matter what it is. Be appreciative for everything. Some of us could be outside in the street homeless. Some of us could not know a word of this. Be grateful for everything that the Most High God do. It don't matter what it is. Be grateful for every provision in every way that he has allowed you to do what you needed to do to get closer to him. Whether he put you in a more comfortable position where you can study more, whether he put you in a job where you have the time to put in more work, whether he put you in a position where you have a roof over your head and comfortability to do what you need to do. It don't matter what it is. You give thanks to the Most High God. You don't sit there and get big-headed in your own mind and believe for a second that you did all this. Because before this knowledge of the truth came, we was in turmoil and mental hell, going through all these chaotic things, experiencing all these things in Egypt, in this bondage to this flesh, being led by our own desires of the flesh, having to satisfy this beast, this vessel that we're in. We gotta relax and always be grateful to Jehovah. Period. That's all I'm saying. And it shall be, if thou do it all, forget the Spirit of God thy guide, and walk after other gods. So you gonna let something else guide your life? You're gonna start following after you're gonna follow after things in this world. Now you're gonna let a man lead you and tell you what's right. And you're not gonna follow after the word. Now you're gonna follow after vain idols and these different things that you can see. People gonna start worshiping images of things. People gonna start following after men. They gonna start letting somebody or something become their God and serve them and worship them. Now you respect that over the Most High God. I testify against you this day that you shall surely perish. You are going to die. And I ain't talking about your flesh. We always need to hold to Jehovah. We need to fight. We need to fight. We need to grow. We need to be with him. It's only him that can save us and lead us into eternal rest and peace. But some is going to get big-headed, and some of them is going to quite literally walk away. Why? Because now you done walked away from what the truth was. Why? Because now you think that you it. This is what happens. None of that was in the teaching. So we need where we're at right here. Okay. So right here, actually, this goes right with it. So we don't have to pivot back. As a matter of fact, we can go right into this because this goes right here. So remember this, so verse 19 of Deuteronomy 8, and it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Spirit of God thy guide, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day that you shall surely perish. Why? Because now you started to your heart started separating from the Most High God. Your heart separated from him, and you held to that. You didn't catch it. You didn't sit there and check yourself. You held to that, and this is what happened. So now we have to see all this, because if you start doing that, now you're behaving as a self-righteous person. You can see it all there. All this is here. All these things kick in. So from here now, we're going to Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 10. We're going to go from 12 to 13. Because pride kicked in. Putting yourself in a position in the Most High, or you're going to depart from him and follow something else, all be based on what you thought was right. Being self-righteous. Vain opinion. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from God. We see it. And his heart is turned away from his maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abominations. And for that reason, the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. Okay? This is what happens. All right? Galatians. Wait, I'm going to, let me see. What is my brain doing? Galatians chapter 5, verse 26. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Okay? Uh, Proverbs 25 and 27. It is not good to eat much honey. All right? Eating much honey, you can get sick. So it is not good to eat much honey. So for men to search their own glory is not glory. All right? So for men to search their own power, so for men to search their own strength, so for men to search their own power is not eternal power. Men's power, the power of us, is all temporary. It's all going to fail and fade. Flesh will not get you anywhere. So self-righteousness will not get you anywhere. Being envious, having that envy, wanting to operate in this way won't get you anywhere. Pride will not get you anywhere. All this is all together. Okay? So what do we need to do? So right here. So for men to search their own power is not eternal power. It's not. I say we are temporary. Everything we see is temporary, so is us. So we can't search. So searching our own strength. Oh, I can do this. I can. Let's go to Psalms. Psalm 68. Psalm 68 and 34. Which says what? Ascribe your strength unto God. All right? His excellency is over Israel. And his strength is in the clouds. All right, let's look at what ascribe means. And also, if this helps y'all to where I show you what the word means as I go through, so you can see it, let me know. I can just make that something I regularly do, if need be. But ascribe means to assign, impute, cause, assign, credit. So assign your strength unto God. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. So remember that our righteousness isn't really righteousness. We are all in this flesh, so by us going by our own minds, we will get nowhere. Us trying to search our own power isn't going to get us anywhere. We're limited in this flesh, and our own strength will fail us. True power is in the Word of God. So we should be keeping his commandments and walking in alignment with Jehovah's will, because his strength is everlasting. As a matter of fact, since I said that, let me see. Once again, hey, I'm really just rolling at this point. I'm gonna be honest. So let me see. Isaiah. This wasn't in here either. Nah, but hey, we going. Isaiah. It's 26. Oh, okay, so let me. I'm gonna have to see where because this booklet is acting. I don't know why this glitch is happening on the Bible. Bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna figure that out. I probably just gotta, I don't know, restart my computer at some point. I ain't did it. This computer be on like 24/7, so that's probably what's wrong with it. But Isaiah 20, 26 and 4, it reads, "Trust ye in the Spirit of God forever, for in the Spirit of God Jehovah is everlasting strength." So we see this. So true power is in the Word of God. So we should keep the commandments and walk in alignment with Jehovah's will, because his strength is everlasting. Our trust and hope should be in him. And we cannot go based on what we think is right. The Father has sent him, and once again, if we want to be self-righteous, we're trying to put ourselves on his level. We should assign our strength to God, leaving off our own glory, our own power, and our strength should be in the word of God and not our own. Okay? So from here, we stand in Isaiah, but now we're going to go down to Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42 and 8. Because Jehovah is going to say, I am the Spirit of God. That is my name. That is my way. And my glory, eternal power, will I not give to another. So don't think we're going to be on his level. Don't think self-righteousness is going to equal his. Don't think that, oh, we this and we that. Nah, dust of the ground. Dust. So don't put dust on a pedestal. Always praise, confess, exalt him. Because it's him that has true strength. It's him who has true glory. It's him. All right. So I am the Spirit of God. That is my name. That is my way. And my glory will I not give to another. Neither my praise to graven images. Okay. This is a clear indicator that we need to practice obedience and faithfulness to this covenant and not establish our own righteousness. Jehovah will not share his glory with another. So we cannot put ourselves on a pedestal or think we're doing something. Man, I did this, I did it. You can't get off that. Those who desire to practice self-righteousness are placing themselves on the left side of the plumb line, dwelling in pride and hypocrisy, envy and confusion. We make ourselves void when we do this. So by recognizing we are being self-righteous and have a pride issue, we need to turn to Jehovah and acknowledge this issue that we have and practice humility and meekness and surrender ourselves to God, seeking to be transformed inwardly and to be aligned with Jehovah's will. The only hope we will ever have is truly in the Father's word. Many will still operate in their own righteousness and selfish desires, being without form and void, desolate of the wisdom from God. And those who continue to want to be that way, you let them do what they want to do. Isaiah 5 and 14. It say, therefore, for that reason, hell have enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, that pride, all that, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. It's just that simple. Now let's go right here, because for us that we making sure that we're aligned with Jehovah, we putting in this work. We need to do what we need to do. We need to have reliance and trust on him, as we previously saw. We need to hold to him, because in him is true strength. Right here. So now let's go to Isaiah 41 and 10, which reads, fear not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, be not afraid, for I am thy guide. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness, with the righteous power of my righteousness. That's what we need. We don't want to fall into the abyss. We don't want to fall into the abyss. That's what we need to be. This is what we need to be looking for here. All right. From here, let's go to Genesis. I done clicked the wrong button again. Hopefully this don't start doing it. Let me see. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So we see this clear. We clearly can see what's happening here. And the earth was without form and void, showing that it was without the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High God, and without the spiritual guidance needed. All right. The earth was without form and void. All the people, the world, we clearly can see it. Everything that happens out here, all of this homosexuality, all of this perverse things. You got people who are out here hurting children, out here going in these buildings, doing practicing all these things. You have murderers that's running around. You have all these things, constant drama, constant envy, constant debate and strife. You have these camps on the corners sitting there talking about Esau the white man, sitting there condemning people, not knowing what it is that they don't even know what they talking about. They picked up the book and started thinking that they knew everything, and they read it for like 6 months. And now all of a sudden they believe they have all the answers. You got these Christians that's running around thinking that they this and they that, thinking that they better than everybody else because they are Christian, thinking that they blessed and highly favored and they saved, without the wisdom and knowledge and understanding from the Most High, following after men. You got men going into women, women doing whatever with women, thinking that all this stuff is cool, thinking that all this stuff is fine. You got the LGBTQ on a constant rise, people openly being homosexuals, sitting there thinking it's fine. You got people who sitting there pushing, eating all these unclean things. You got people saying it's all right to eat pork, it's all right to eat crab, it's all right to eat shellfish. You got the seafood boils that people be pushing and inviting people to. All these different things be going on. All these things happen. And the earth was without form and void. If we want to be self-righteousness, if we want to hold to self-righteousness and do these things and hold to what we think is right, we without form and void. Empty. Desolate. Without the knowledge of God. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. Okay? Spiritual dictionary. Let's look at the deep. Because we gonna get this. Deep. Bottomless. Endless despair. The pit. Infinite. Hell. Void. Deep. The abyss. All these things. So this is just showing you how this is going on. But what it means is deep, void, hell, infinite, pit, despair, endless, bottomless. So deep. So let's follow deep still. Right here, deep, descending. So this is downward. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Right here, depth, deep. You got lowest part. I'm about to say, so far separated from the knowledge. Okay? Right here, knowledge, understanding, streams, rivers, the deep. So when you see this here, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, there was no knowledge. Completely no knowledge of the Most High. Sitting here doing everything fleshly, doing everything wickedly, doing everything contrary to him. Self-righteousness will put you right here. Why? Because it's not that is not pleasing to the Most High. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, let there be understanding. And there was understanding. This is the light we need to be following. That light is Christ. That's what we need to be following. That's who we need to be following. Okay? This is all very much so clear. Let me add forward to it. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. We don't want to be separated from the light. But if we want to be self-righteous, darkness, void, without form. All these things are here. So now let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs 15 and 24. Wait a minute. I think it's right here. Proverbs 15 and 24. The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from the hill beneath. Why? You're going to be in this corrupted mindset. You're going to be in this spiritual decay. We need to be transformed in the spirit of our minds. But instead of being transformed by the word of God, being self-righteous, yeah, you will be in that darkness that was separated, and you will remain there without form and void. We need to hold to the spirit of God no matter what. If we don't get rid of a self-righteous heart, we fall into the void. The only way out of this is by removing pride and seeking Jehovah with a sincere desire to change and instantly putting in this work to get it right. Never intending to repeat the same mistakes and never looking back to desire the filth that we were once in. This is a serious journey that we're on, and we need to surrender ourselves and have faith in the true guide of Israel, Jehovah. We need to follow the light. We want to be upheld by his righteous power. This separates us from the things of this world. We want to be aligned with the commandments to turn away from all unrighteousness, self-righteousness, and pride. Meekness is something that we greatly need in this journey, submitting ourselves in servitude to Jehovah's will. Okay? Now, from here, Romans chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. And it reads, I beseech you, therefore, for that reason, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, separated, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, don't be without form and void. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, wanting that vainglory. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. You this, you that. Oh, I can say this. Nah, get off that. But to think soberly, according as God has dealt to every man the measure of faith. I need to break this down for you. For I say, through the mercy, through the gift given unto me, to every male or female that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. We need the meekness, the lowliness of mind. I'm going to actually pivot after this because something else came to my mind here. But to think soberly according. So soberly, having that temperance, having self-control. Have self-control. Don't be tripping. Stop tripping. According as God have dealt to every male and female the measure. So the measure, the judgment, the doctrines and teachings of faith, of righteousness. So he's shown us what we needed to do. We have everything that we need. He's dealt to every male and female the doctrines and teachings of righteousness. Okay, but first, let me make sure I have this here as well, because this came to mind over here in this. Let me see. It's Philippians 2 and 3, hitting on the to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. That's a full thought. Okay? That's a full thought. So let's pivot real quick and go to Philippians 2 and 3. It says what? Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Okay? So it's not for us to sit there and try to rival other people, compare ourselves to other people, think we better than other people. Oh, I teach better than him. I teach better than him. Now I know more than him. Oh, I work harder than him. Oh, I do this. Be better than who you were yesterday. The only one who I'm competing with is Kahleial. I need to beat myself. I need to be better than who I was yesterday. I can't be sitting here doing the same things over and over, making the same mistakes over and over, having these problems. I'm my worst enemy. I'm my own opponent. I'm not going to sit here and worry about what the next man is doing because that don't got nothing to do with me. He's doing this. He's doing that. Get off that. Well, you need to do this. Get off that. What do you need to do? Focus on what you need to do to get right with the Spirit of God. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. You trying to sit there and put yourself on a pedestal thinking you just this magnificent thing. Let nothing be done through strife, causing these problems, causing these issues, trying to battle or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. I think I'm the man. Listen, I'm not all that. I don't know all that much. Don't put me on a pedestal. I'm just trying to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Literally, I'm just a regular dude. I did not know I'd be doing this. I'm trying to do what's right. That's what I want to do. So don't put me on no pedestal. Don't. But if you ask me, I'm literally, I'm bottom of the bucket. So it ain't no reason for me to ever put myself on a pedestal. Period. I know all the stuff that I come from. I know the stuff that I used to be doing. Don't put me on no pedestal. Worship God. It's that simple. Let's go back now to Romans chapter 12. Y'all don't need to thank me for nothing. There ain't no point. Romans 12. 1 through 3. I beseech you for that reason, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every male or female that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God have dealt to every male or female the doctrines and teachings of righteousness. Okay, so it ain't for any of us to put ourselves on a pedestal at all. We have to be humble. We have to walk in meekness. Psalms. (25) verse 9. It says, the meek, the humble will he guide in judgment. In these doctrines and teachings. And the meek will he teach his way. We have to be humble. You remember what the publican said up there. Let's go to verse 8. Good and upright is the Spirit of God. Therefore, for that reason, will he teach sinners in the way. But if you want to be self-righteous, what he got to teach you for? I know all the answers. I got all this. We got to teach you anything for. You know it all, right? You good, right? You did everything yourself. You self-made, right? You good to go. You good to go. You got everything you need. Oh, so, all right. You got the keys to the kingdom, right? Oh, you must be the one letting people in the door, right? My bad. You must be the one who letting us in the door. You must got the answers. You don't got the answers. I don't got the answers. Jehovah got the answers. Good and upright is the Spirit of God. Therefore, he will teach sinners in a way. We have to humble ourselves sincerely. Some people think they ain't ever sinned. Some people think they have never sinned. Some people think that they straight right now. I'm saved right now. I'm blessed and highly favored right now. What he got to teach you for? What are you even going to learn? The meek will he guide in judgment. The meek will he teach his way. Clear. The meek will he guide in judgment. The meek will he teach his way. Second address. I should have closed that. I'm not about to scroll down there like that. Wait a minute. That's my bad. I'm sitting here. Yeah. Second address. Second address 7 and 21. Wait a minute. It's up here, I think. No. Where is 7? Yep, 7 and 21. So keep this in mind. The meek will he guide in judgment, in doctrines and teachings, and the meek will he teach his way. For God has given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. He told us what we needed to do. Do it! I'm really yelling at myself. I'm gonna add this to it. I'm gonna add this as let me see. Nevertheless, 22. Were they not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things? You had your vain opinions. Okay? Because a lot is going to sit there and say that they doing something and doing something else. So now let's go to Isaiah. We're going to go to Isaiah 29 and 13. Which reads, wherefore the Creator said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, oh, I love the Lord. Oh, yeah. I thank God for everything I got. I thank God for this. And oh, yeah. Thank the Lord. Thank you, Lord. For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me. And their desire toward me is taught by the precept of men, the instructions of men. Because you got men that's going to tell you what they think is the right way to do it. Oh, this is how you serve and worship God. And they not going to go into the book and show not one drop of a precept. No. That precept going to come from the heart of that man. If you in a building, if you at a camp, if you walking around asking people, they can't show you what they talking about. They can't prove to you what they talking about. They just gonna tell you, okay. Wherefore the Creator said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear, their desire toward me is taught by the precept of men. Because we're not holding to the commandment of God when we following the precept of men. We saw in 2nd Esdras, for God have given straight commandment to such as came. So if we holding to the precept of men, we laying aside the commandment of God. Self-righteousness, following our own way, following our own thoughts, leaning to our own understanding, vain opinions. Now that envy is there. That hypocrisy is there, because now you sitting there saying that you are following the Most High. You not following Him. You not holding or serving Christ or following the Spirit of God. By being self-righteous, you're not doing it. So self-righteousness will sit there and claim how much they love the Spirit of God, but will be doing everything opposite to what's pleasing to Him. They're going to say one thing and doing another, operating in hypocrisy. This is the issue. Now let's go to Isaiah 65. (65) 1-5, which reads, and this is what happens. I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, remember me, unto a people that was not called by my name. They not following the ways of the Most High. This is about what we be doing. I have spread out my powers all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts, being self-righteous. A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick, which remaineth among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, which learn of this swine's flesh, and brought of abominable things in their vessels. This wasn't in the teaching, but we're going to go over there to Acts 17:24. Because they inside of it here. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is Lord, creator of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Dwell not in temples made with hands. Let me see if I can open up more Bibles so I can not have to do that like in this way. Let me see. Hopefully, see, look, because when I do this, it'll start crashing everything. Let me hope it don't crash this. There you go. It didn't do it. I was scared to do that, but see, look, there it go. Let's hope this don't crash on me. I'm gonna listen. I don't need nobody. Oh, that's the he got that Windows. I don't listen. I'm gonna get an Apple. Leave me alone. I'm broke. I get an Apple when I can. All right, let's go back there. Let's have that side by side with the Isaiah. Hopefully this one don't do that one thing. Yeah, this one good. We're going to go back to Isaiah 65, and we're going to look at this 3-4, as we can see here. It say, a people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick. All right. You sitting there offering up these prayers and doing all these things in a building where He ain't at, which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things is in their vessels. So we clearly can see right there in that Acts 17:24, God that made, I did not mean to close that. Go back there, open the bookmarks. There we go. That God, it says, God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is creator of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. So they're doing all these physical things and all these carnal observances, believing that they're doing what's actually pleasing to the Most High, and they're not. But as it clearly says that He dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Hebrews 9:27 it'll let you know. Wait a minute. I pressed the wrong button again. I'm going to get the flow down on how to use this. Let me see here. It's 9:24. I apologize. Hebrews 9:24. For Christ is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures, the similitudes of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. So Christ ain't in no building. God is not in no building. Understanding, clear as day, what is going on. Because some people will really sit there, because we finna see. And 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. I say none of this, like I said, none of this was here, but we gotta do this here. 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. Tells you, know ye not that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? That's where the Most High wants to reside. You can't take him in no building thinking that you're doing something. But you got some people who go into these places and truly believe that they doing what they... Nah. This word needs to be within you. We need to be following the Spirit of God, no matter what. Holding to his ways and being aligned with Jehovah's will. Being a reflection of his character. Keeping the commandments in sincerity and following him through faith. So know ye not that you are the temple of God and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. So we go back here to Isaiah 65, 1 through 5. But looking back here at 3 through 4. People that provoked me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick. Yeah, you in a building doing these things, thinking you doing what you... which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments. Inside of these physical places made with hands, truly believing that you're learning the truth. It is not one... If you go into these buildings and it said God is not in there and Christ ain't in there, the Spirit of God is not in you at all. Because you're deliberately choosing to go into a place where he isn't. You're going into a place that is void, desolate of truth, believing that you're doing something. So let's go back. Now let's read 5. All right, let's go to... No, let's read... Let's reiterate the whole thing. Isaiah 65, 1 through 5. I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, remember me unto a people that was not called by my name. All right, because they're not going to follow his way. Okay. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good, after their own thoughts. A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens, and burneth incense upon altars of brick, which remaineth among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, and broth of abominable things is in their vessels, which say, stand by thyself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou. Self-righteous, thinking that they better than somebody else, thinking that they this and they that because they do this. Oh well, I you know, that guy over there, he didn't file his taxes, so you finding all these weird, trying to sit there and always make yourself better than another person. He don't come to this building. He evil. He don't come in here. He the devil. Oh, I heard last week that she was doing this, that, and the third. Man, get from around me, man. Get from around me, man. Look, you be, man, go over there, bro. Man, listen, bro. I'm blessed and highly favored, bro. You can't tell me nothing, bro. You don't come in this building, don't you show me. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Man, you stand over there, bro. For real, bro. You don't know nothing you talking about. I'm going to listen to my pastor. My pastor know what he talking about. Not you. I don't see you in there with us. Stand by thyself. Don't come over here. I'm holy. Man, listen, I pay my tithes every week. This is what I be. Listen, do you pay your tithes? He ain't gonna bless you. I appreciate my pastor. I appreciate him. Every pastor appreciation. I make sure to give him what he need. He my shepherd. He my shepherd. I love him. He the one that gave me the truth. You know how disgusting that is? Putting everything and following after men, going into these buildings and doing these practices. This is ain't no man gonna ever be my shepherd. Ain't no man ever gonna rule over me. But this is what happens. This is what goes down. Isaiah 65:5, which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. They being self-righteous, vainglory, putting themselves on a pedestal, thinking that they doing something. This is what happens. This is what goes down. That's what happens in those buildings. This is what happens in them camps. As a matter of fact, there was one time, I'm going to tell y'all a story on something that actually did happen. I was downtown, Kansas City, and I was sitting there. I was going to the shoe store. I wanted to get me some new loafers, some blue ones. And on my way out, there was some homeless people who was on the street, and I asked if they needed food though, and they said they needed some food. So I go down to a burger joint. Just got them a burger and a shake, some fries, and then there was another one. There was another homeless dude who also did not have anything. He was asking me for assistance. It was two homeless people. There was one that was up the street, and when I went down the street, there was a second one. But the second one, and this dude, I looked at his shoes, and his shoes was busted up. He had been walking around, and his shoes was all jacked up. And I know his feet was hurting. So I offered to get him some shoes. And this is not to glorify myself or anything, because this is about, you got to see the point, because this is about these camps. But this dude, quite literally, I was letting him know, quite literally, like, hey, I'll make sure you get some shoes, dude, and you know what I'm saying, I'll be on my way. But I told him not to thank me. I didn't tell him my name. I told him, hey, you thank the Most High. I removed myself out of the equation on all that stuff. But then he tells me, oh well, are you a part of that camp that's down the street? I said, what? He was like, yeah, there was a camp down the street. They be talking about the Most High God and all that. And they said I couldn't be with them because I was still leaving the worldly lifestyle. They told me I couldn't be with them because I was doing this and doing that. I was like, man, that don't got nothing to do with me at all. Now, at the time, I quite literally wish I didn't have no business cards at that time, but I should have told him where to go. That, I made a mistake on that. Because I could have easily shared with him how to get deeper into the water and everything like that. This was a while ago. But he was rejected by one of them camps. I mean, he didn't. I mean, he don't need to be over there no ways, but he was rejected by one of them camps because they were sitting there saying that, oh, you doing this, you doing that. Man, you can't come with us. You can't be over here and do this and do that. And all he was trying to do was figure out what was going on. That dude, all he was trying to do was learn what was going on, and they casted him out on the street. Now, good thing he didn't take anything from them, and he didn't learn nothing from them. Because them camps is going to give him whatever they think was right. But what did they do? Stand by thyself. And man, no, man, you can't come around here, dude. And this is what they do. Couldn't even help this dude. This is what they do. I can't remember exactly what I had told him, but I told him, listen, you don't thank me for this. You just don't do that. So these are the things that happen. You can sit there, all it take. You see, you don't take that as, oh, this is my opportunity to do this. No. If you do something good, you do it from the heart. If you're gonna help somebody and you share some knowledge with them, you share that knowledge. You don't sit there and treat a person as if they're less than you. It doesn't matter who they are or what circumstance they find themselves in. White, black, it don't matter. You treat people with dignity and respect. Not to sit there and put them above the Most High, but you're showing that care, that genuine care and that sincerity to want to help somebody else. Just all it is. So he got some new shoes. I made sure he had some running shoes that lasted. And I let him know you thank the Most High. You don't need to thank me for anything. I left. If I would have had a business card, I would have gave him a business card. Those weren't a thing at that time. I was not thinking that, like I said, I should have made sure he had something. So the whole thing is we need to make sure we sharing this knowledge with our brothers and sisters. You share that with them. This is all very clear. But guess what? A Christian, a camp, all these different types of groups, we can clearly see how this is all moving together. A self-righteous person will put themselves on a pedestal and put others down, being envious towards others, speaking evil against others, sitting there doing all these different things. This is what will happen. Seeking vainglory, being void of the knowledge of God. There are those who will go into the whorehouses, these worship places, doing these ritualistic things as their practices, believing now that they're superior to everybody else because they do this and they do that. These are going to speak on other people and throw rocks at others, speaking on other people's lives, gossiping about them, being judgmental to those who they believe is lesser than them. We're not better than anybody else, period. None of us is guaranteed to get into the kingdom. If you're going into a building, you most definitely very far off to the left side of the plumb line, because God ain't in there and Christ ain't in there. But those who have the knowledge, who are actually seeking after Jehovah, who seek to do what is pleasing in his sight, we still not guaranteed. But if we want to sit there and do these types of things to people, envy will tie in automatically. Sirach 14:8. All right, now this is kind of yeah. Give the computer a second. It's loading. It says, the envious man hath a wicked understanding. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. He gonna speak evil. He gonna speak evil of these men. You can't come around us. You can't do this. We can see it clearly. Envy, hypocrisy, and self-righteousness all rolling together. I was doing it. I was doing this. I was doing these things. All this got to get put away. Like I said, I ain't better than nobody. There ain't no reason to envy nobody either. What's the point? There ain't no reason to be envious. What's the point? There ain't no reason to be a hypocrite. What's the point? There's no point to it. Psalm 75, 4 and 5. It says, I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up the horn. Lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with a stiff neck. Horn can mean strength or power. Lift up not your power on high. We already seen that. Man's glory ain't eternal power. Man's power ain't eternal power. Why are we searching that? Why are we trying to sit there and put ourselves on a pedestal? Lift not up your power on high. Speak not with a stiff neck. Psalms 50, 19, and 20. Because if we doing this, thou givest thy mouth to evil. Thou in thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother and slanderest thine own mother's son. We can't be talking about each other like this and putting and doing this to each other. We shouldn't be doing this to anybody else either. We gonna sit there and say, oh, I'm holier than thou. That's what we gonna do. The Most High God does not mix at all with self-righteous conduct. We need to absolutely remove this mindset far from us and humble ourselves. Much iniquity comes from self-righteousness, because this behavior is of the flesh and will cause one to condemn people and be high-minded. Evil, envy, and hypocrisy and self-righteousness, all characteristics of a Pharisee, Christian, camp member, anyone who will lean to their own understanding is being self-righteous. This is a carnal mind at work when these things happen. There is not a single one of us that have the right to sit there and talk down on anyone, even if we have the knowledge of the truth, because the reality is the only difference between us and others is what we believe and what we chose to follow. This does not in any way make us superior to anyone, because we are inside of a vessel of flesh just like everyone else is. So to behave as if you're superior to anyone else is quite literally you glorifying the dust of the ground. Hosea 10 or 13. As we begin winding this down, because we like I said, I'm gonna have to. This is part one for a reason. Hosea. Oh. Let me see this really quick. There. Oh yeah. Okay. Hosea 10 and 13, and it reads. It says, "You have plowed wickedness, you have reaped iniquity, you have learned of the work of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, in the multitude of thy mighty men." We cannot be following after men and what men is sitting there saying. Proverbs 3. Five through 7. And it reads, Trust in the Spirit of God with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Desire the Spirit of God and depart from evil. Romans 3 and 23. Oh man, yeah, I don't know why this doing this. I hope this don't crash on me. There we go. 3 and 23, which reads, For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And then from here, Ecclesiastes 7 and 20, which reads, For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. Self-righteousness is judgmental to others. It will condemn people. It will not look at itself and what it does. It will speak evil of others. It's boastful and high-minded. It's self-willed. It'll sit there and pound things into others. It'll think that it can force others to do what it wants it to do. It will not follow Christ. Yet it's going to say that it is. It won't trust in God. It will sit there and believe that it has the capability to save others when it can't even save itself. It'll sit there and slander others. It'll cause strife and contentions. It'll sit there and push blame to everyone else but itself, exalting itself but needing handouts. Corrupted mind. It's going to sit there and want to rival others, to compete with others, all based on wanting to feel superior, all for vainglory. Self-righteousness will hold grudges and hold things against people. It'll sit there in hypocrisy and talk about how others do this and that, but will be doing the same thing, but then justify why it does it. Self-righteousness will go its own way. It's greedy and selfish. It's the way of foolishness, lacking understanding. We've seen all that. Psalms 39, 9, and then going to 8. Hmm. No. I'm sorry. Psalms 32. Psalms 32, 9 and 8. I was reading that too quickly. We're going to go to 9 and then go up to 8. It's a, Be not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding. Why? Cause those gonna go. You ever sit there and you watch somebody try to make a horse submit to it, break a horse. Them things be kicking. Them things, them things start tripping. They literally start going crazy. But you gotta tame it. So same thing is you want to have self control. Once again, as we saw up there, having that temperance, not thinking too highly of yourself. Be not as the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine understanding. We need to be led by the understanding that comes from the word. We need to sincerely humble ourselves and be taught by the word. not by men or their ideas, not by our own ways of doing things. We need Jehovah to lead us always, to help us and nurture us, to care for us. We need to be obedient to him and serve him earnestly, being steadfast in our commitment to him and holding on to the promise. We should desire his wisdom no matter what and be filled with his wisdom and only to hold to her. Flesh will lead you to destruction and turmoil, into the abyss of sin, and ultimately into the second death if you choose to hold to it. We have a choice to make, and we have some work to do, but we can rid ourselves of this. I myself was a self-righteous tyrant. I was sitting there thinking I was better than those who didn't have this knowledge, the minute amount that I had. I tried to force my people to see what I saw, but this isn't according to my own way that dare see anything. So basically what I'm saying is I can't force nobody to see anything, but that's what I was trying to do. Oh, well they doing this, and man, I ain't better than nobody. Every individual has the choice to make for themselves on what it is they want to follow. Everyone is allowed to make the choice for themselves to either follow Jehovah or follow flesh, to choose life or to choose death, to choose blessing or to choose cursing. Everybody has their own choice to do this. We simply tell people the truth and move on no matter who it is. If we try to force things on people, it'll make us self-righteous. So we need to examine ourselves daily and keep ourselves in check, because the only one we can control is ourselves. We can encourage one another on this journey and help each other but when needed. But you never force anyone to do anything. So we don't want to be moving in that way, sitting there thinking we can force somebody to do this or do that or control somebody. We can't control nobody. Don't try it. It doesn't matter what's going on. You let people know what's right and you move on. If they hold to it, that's a beautiful thing. If they don't, okay. Everybody got choices. It's just that simple. Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. So we don't need to sit there. We don't need to be the cause of these issues and these things. We gonna go through stuff, but are we gonna be the ones to cause it? No, we're not. You telling somebody the truth isn't you causing anything. If they choose to sit there and get mad, okay, are we now their enemy because we told them what the truth was? All we doing is being a vessel that's going to have the message come through. If they mad at us, they not mad at us. They mad at the Most High because this is his word and not ours. It's just that simple. It's that straightforward. So a self-righteous mind is never at rest. It'll never have peace because it's always going to be sitting there fighting. We need to follow the Father's spirit and none else. I'm closing it out with the last few. 2nd Esdras 16, 75 and 76. As we close down this part of this, because it's a lot more to go into. And it's about to be over 2 hours on a Tuesday night. Let me see here. (75, 76) it read, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, for Yahweh is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Creator Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your acts of sins, your iniquities, lift up themselves." So don't let these wicked thoughts weigh you down, and don't let these acts of sins, the action of that wicked thought, lift up yourself. Don't do it. We see here clearly that we need to hold to this no matter what, to the word, to follow Jehovah no matter what, despite everything regardless of what's going on. You never give up. Failure is not an option. We need to go to the Most High in prayer and surrender all this to Him. We need Him all the time. Our strength is nothing. We need to seek to be aligned with His word. Now, we got the last 6 verses of this teaching. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 23 and 24. And it reads, O Spirit of God, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps. O Spirit of God, correct me, but with judgment, with your teachings, your doctrine, your teachings, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing. Psalms 119, 133. Order my steps in thy word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me. Psalms 25 and 4. Show me thy ways, O Spirit of God. Teach me thy paths. Psalm 17 and 5. Hold up my goings in thy paths, that my footsteps slip not. Now let's go back to 25 and end it at 5. Lead me in thy truth, and teach me, for thou art the guide of my salvation. And this is what we need to do. That's a full thought. On thee do I wait all the day. So my brothers and sisters, we see clearly how the envious heart and the self-righteous mind go hand in hand also with hypocrisy, and what these things can look like. But there's much more to cover on this one topic. So it's the first part of this. And we're just going to continue to build. But my brothers and sisters, I hope that someone was richly edified by this teaching. And I appreciate you all for coming out to this lesson. This has been Deacon Kahleial, and I say unto each and every one of you, Shalom.
Bye.